No need to trouble His Highness, I said, for some reason taking pity on the local cops as I imagined the royal guard of the Androsovs descending on them from helicopters. As you say, my friend said, nodding with displeasure. I clapped my comrade on the shoulder again and turned to our raid leader, who hadn't yet said a single word. Helga, I have a big favor to ask you. I looked at the girl, who was biting her lips as if thinking about something. Yeah? She moved her eyes from the cops to me. Please take Carmel home. The girl's eyebrows shot up. Before she had time to think too much about it, I pushed my keys into her hands. Leave her with the concierge, I said, smiling. Don't worry, she won't eat her. I already knew that I didn't have to voice orders to the panther out loud. I just did it out of convenience. This time, I gave the order mentally. Go with this girl. Her name is Helga. Do her no harm. She will take you home. Do not leave the apartment. Do not come looking for me. You don't need to save me. I'll be back soon. And I scratched the kitty behind her ears. But, the girl stammered, gesturing at the panther. She doesn't wear a leash or collar, I said, shaking my head. Just tell her what you want. She's a smart girl. When I was invited into the service vehicle, I watched with a smile as my party dispersed, and Helga started leading Carmel home with a bewildered expression on her face. She'd be surprised at how smart that kitten was. High time I taught that cat to bring chicks home for me. Why not? She'd do a great job. The journey was uneventful. I was taken to the police station and made to wait a whole hour in the corridor. At least, they didn't slap cuffs on me. Not much point, anyway. As a gifted, I could just break out of them. True, the corridor was still locked, and that would be less easy to get out of. 2 cops came for me after around an hour and took me to a detective's office without a word. The detective was a somewhat overweight and balding man of around 45. By the look in his eyes, I was about to have an interesting chat, one that, at first, I wouldn't like, and later, he wouldn't like. How could it be otherwise? He'd attack me, and I might not hold back if he went too far. I'd send him a little scorpion with 20 times more venom than it takes to kill a man. You must be Galaxius, he said with a chuckle, pointing me to a chair. Take a seat. Thanks, I said, nodding at him reservedly, but not forgetting to add a smile. If you don't mind, I'd like to get straight down to business. I'm fresh out of a rift, and I haven't even had lunch yet. I'm afraid that isn't for you to decide. He grinned and looked me up and down. That said, where you're going, the food is just fine. At least, it is for aristocrats. And it seems like you're still an aristocrat. For now. With those last words, his grin grew even wider. For now? I raised an eyebrow in surprise. What? Didn't you know? You have nothing to your name but the name itself, and that means your rank hangs by a thread. People like you can easily lose their titles. And as it happens, you're in such deep shit here that I've already written 2 letters to the right people to try and make that happen. What a naive man. He had no idea that if that was true, then tomorrow he'd die in his bed, and I'd be dealing with a new detective. All I showed on my face was boredom. He waited for me to show some emotion. I was sure there were cameras all over, and he probably wanted to throw me off balance. When he realized it wasn't working, he reached for some documents on the desk. Before we get started, I'd like to clarify a few questions, he said, staring intently at the papers. It says here that your father died, and after that your mother worked in the brothels of Europe. Is that right? Wow, real smart guy. Thought he had the perfect bait for a hot-headed teenager. Just for our information,
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.